We are less than 30 days to go until the 2026 World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships in Spain. So I figured it was a good time to release a video for those who are experiencing their first World Championships. Not the organizers, just the competitors. I've had to redo this video 3 times because there's updates that keep coming out on the WJPF website, things that could have come out ages ago, but we're getting updates, which is nice, and it's kind of changed some of the information within the video. The next update we're expecting on that website is to be the round assignments, and that's going to be its whole separate video on its own. So I'm not really going to talk about the updates too much. I'll touch on them briefly, and then I'll go into the main part of this video. So very briefly, we have set times for the opening ceremonies. That's nice to see. We know that there's going to be a giant puzzle event, so we'll get to see the 42,000 piece Pokemon puzzle that's recently been released by Ravensburger. That's very fun. I'm very excited about that. What else? We have updates on the website where we can see more information about competition experience from individual competitors. There's a few bugs still in there, but it's an interesting thing to see. People can now post their various social media links on there through, I think Facebook is on there, Instagram for sure, YouTube is on there. There was my speed puzzling, but that's disappeared, and I have theories as to why, but that's not relevant. But yeah, so if you have a social media account, especially a puzzle Instagram account, which is the most popular, I would think, you can add that on there. Mine are already there, so click on those and follow. And follow this account too. We also know that the Organizations Challenge, or the Nations Challenge, whatever you want to call it, will be a 1,500 piece puzzle again. 2,000 would have been more fun, but you know, it's an extra event that's fun to be a part of. So if you are competing in that, congratulations. If you're on your national team or however it is that your organization is assembling that, that should be a fun event on the second day of the competitions. And those are kind of the big changes for now. There hasn't really been much else. They've made some changes to the rules pages and the frequently asked questions pages. They've removed references to the dome. That's good on there. And yeah, now we just wait for the big round update where everyone freaks out about who's in their qualifier rounds. I'll be one of the people that will freak out about that. I know I'm going to be in the very first event again, like I was last year. I really hope I'm not, but you know what? Never mind. I really don't want to be in the second or third qualifiers for individual. I definitely don't want to be in those 2 rounds, so don't put me in those 2 rounds. You know, the 4th round would be even worse, so don't do that. First would be great. But this video is for the people that are attending their first World Championships this year. A few weeks ago, over the course of about a month, I asked people through my Instagram page, Instagram stories, asking for advice on various aspects of the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships and the experience, whether it's about the individual category, the pairs, teams, whatever event you might be participating in, the city itself, and just general things people wish they knew. And there were so many responses that this video could easily be 3 hours long. It's already going to be long. I have my script written down here, at least the outline of what I want to talk about. And it's already going to be a long-ish video. I can't imagine how long it'd be if I included everything. So thank you to everyone that submitted comments, advice, recommendations, things like that. If I don't get to questions directly, please leave them below and I'll comment there. Other people will, or message me through my Instagram page. So whether it is your first time going to the World Championships or you've been there before and just looking for other pieces of advice, maybe you missed out on a few things last time, hopefully this video is helpful for when you are in Spain in September. And while I've broken all the comments and responses down into their own specific sections throughout, I will also be including things people wish they knew before they went to their first World Championships, or questions that people have as well for those that are going to their first one. I'm not going to say specifically when those show up in the video, obviously, but it's just not going to be its own section. So let's just start off with the City of Valladolid and kind of getting there and just that experience and what's all involved with the city itself and getting from the airport to the City of Valladolid. I'll be including things where they requested people should experience or they should wander over to while they are in the city. Things that they should consider during the competition week, and a few other aspects in there. If there is something I've missed, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that's not included in this video, again, leave a comment below to help out those people going for their first time. It is worth noting this is only my second time going, so it's not like I'm an expert on this at all. There is definitely a ton of stuff that I missed last year, which I will bring up in here. There are people far more knowledgeable than me on the World Championships. This is the 6th time, and there are a few people that have been there for all 5. Some have been there all 4. Some are just 3. But there'll be people that definitely know more than I do. So reach out to other people that may be going. So first things first, when you do arrive in Madrid, which is where the vast majority of people will be flying into, if you're coming from somewhere else, then you figure it out. But if you're flying into Madrid, you have to get from Madrid to Valladolid. It's not walking distance. Vast majority of you will be taking the train from Madrid to Valladolid. It is best to buy your tickets in advance. They will be cheaper. There's a lot of different types of trains that will leave. There's the faster trains. There's one that makes stops. Figure out what works best for you. The direct train is the best train to take. My tickets are already booked, thank goodness. But yeah, book yours as soon as you possibly can for it. Buying it on the day, a bit more risky because it's going to be busy during that time with a huge influx of puzzlers. You want to make sure you get a spot on the train and leave yourself a good chunk of time from when you get off the plane to get to the train station as well. There are, if you're not coming from an EU country, it could take quite a bit longer to get through airport security, customs, and all that. And if you do miss your train because you've just taken too long in the airport with whatever delays there might be, you have to buy new tickets. So better off leaving yourself an extra 3 hours or so after you land, just to be safe. You can risk it and go faster, but again, you don't want to spend extra money you don't need to. Save that money for puzzles. Getting to the train station can be done through bus, taxi, Uber, all those options. Bus is by far the cheapest, it's like 3 or 4 euros to get there. There's signs throughout the airport that will guide you to the bus station that will get you from the airport to the train station. It's a little bit of a walk from where you're going to collect your baggage, so take that into consideration. I didn't take the bus last year. I took a taxi just because I just wanted it to be faster. It was closer to about 30 euros to do that. Uber would have been a little bit cheaper, but it doesn't matter. Multiple different ways to get there, whatever works best for you. I'll talk about the train station for something else in a little bit, but essentially you take the train to get to Valladolid. Once you are there, again, it's very similar to Madrid. You can take an Uber, you can take buses, taxis to your hotel. A lot of people just walk to their hotel from the train station. That's what I did last year. That's most likely what I will do this year as well. So if you can carry your bag, great. If you have wheels, even better. But there's so many people that are getting off the train at the same time because obviously there's a lot of people going to Valladolid. Just walk. And it's a nice way to just kind of get your first footsteps in the city. During the week of competition, if you do want to experience and walk around and explore Valladolid, you absolutely should. However, you may think you're going to have tons of free time to do so, thinking, okay, well, I compete for these 90 minutes or these 2 hours on this day. I have the rest of the day. Yes, you do. That is correct. But you're going to spend much more time at the venue than you may think. And I'm going to talk about the socialization aspect after this portion, but that's where the vast majority of people are going to be. You're not going to have as much time as you may hope you do, or you might be predicting you will, to freely explore the city on your own. So there's a few places that you'll definitely have to experience, or that you're just going to experience by accident, just because that's where everyone is going to be, or they're major sections within the city. I'm not going to go into specific landmarks or anything because everyone has different preferences on what they want to see, whether it's buildings or the history aspect or whatever. That's up to you. If you want to do that stuff, awesome. Research that on your own. Now I'm going to go through some of the places like I just said. It is the Spanish names with it, so I'm going to say them wrong. whatever. This is an absolute must. There's lots of nice cafes there. It's always busy. There's nice architecture, and it's essentially the main focal point of this city, especially where the vast majority of the puzzlers will have their hotels in or near to. It's very very central. Now, if your hotel is near this, especially if it's right on the plaza, it's going to be it can get very loud in the evenings and loud until late. So again, if your hotel is near there, maybe consider headphones, earplugs, if you're someone who struggles to get to sleep if there's noise. The next place would be the Park Camp Grande. There's not tons of nature within the city of Valladolid, but this is one place where you can definitely get some. It is this park. You definitely need to at least go down there and explore. If you just get away from the city aspect a little bit. It's within the city, and it's just a big park. It's lovely. I'm someone who does like to go for walks and kind of clear my head, especially before I sit down for a competition. And this was the perfect place for me to do that last year. There's peacocks roaming around. Avoid them if you think they're a bad omen. Um, yeah, there's some very friendly squirrels there. There's one squirrel in particular that everyone seems to know. I don't know how that's the case, but there's fountains there. There's ponds. It's just a really relaxing place, and it might be a little bit busy, but it's just very quiet, and it makes you think you're not in a city just for a very brief period of time. There's also a river that runs through the city, and there are trails that kind of, or pathways, I guess, that go along the river. Again, something nice to explore if you have time to do that. I did a little bit of it last year, maybe a little bit more this year, but again, you're not going to have tons of time between the different rounds, between going and cheering for other people that are there and just experiencing the event. Now, a lot more of the event is earlier in the day than it was compared to last year, because there's obviously fewer rounds and whatever. But you're still going to spend a lot of time there. And then when you get to the socialization aspect, you're going to be with people that are going to be doing other things, whether it's sitting in a cafe or just randomly walking around the city or just sitting having a chat somewhere. Or puzzling. That's going to be popular. Yeah, you're not going to have tons of time. And since we don't have all the information yet from the WJPF, I'm assuming, but we could, who knows? I mean, it's less than a month away. Why would we expect all the information yet? Last year, they offered guided walking tours, or at least they're posted on the schedule. You may want to consider doing that if that's kind of your thing as well. I personally didn't do it. It didn't fit with my schedule. It overlapped with other things that were taking place, but I did hear from people that it was enjoyable. There's also rental bikes that are quite cheap to rent, and it does make it easier to get around the city as well. So again, something to consider for some of you. This is also Spain, so operating hours can be a little bit different than you may be used to from whatever country you may be from. Be prepared for places to be shutting down sometime in the afternoon for their siestas. Plan your day accordingly, which and then weekends things are shut for different hours as well. Um, if you're buying a lot of puzzles and you're thinking about shipping them back to whatever your home country is, take into consideration post offices aren't open on Sunday on that last day of competition, so you might have to send everything on the Saturday during limited times, or um, even though at that point there'll be a lot of puzzles that haven't been revealed yet. Monday, if you're still here, still there, you can send it that time as well. So just again, really plan out your schedules, double, triple, quadruple check timings of everything. Like I said, plan your days accordingly, and that includes food, which brings me to what was commented by far the most from people when it came to advice and recommendations was about food. I was not aware to the level that puzzlers cared so much about food and drinks and stuff like that. Now, of course, the most recommended foods to try was tapas and empanadas. There was also ramen recommendations, which were submitted as well. This I don't get the ramen thing. Ramen's good, but Spanish ramen. I mean, okay, but if I'm going to Spain, it's going to be tapas, empanadas. I'm going to be doing Spanish food. Ramen's not Spanish, right? Right? There's so many places to eat around the city. You can't really go wrong. Listen to the recommendations from people. Double check that those places are open first. Sometimes places move or they shut down completely, so just check on that too. So it could be the best place and it could be highly recommended. You just don't want to walk all the way there and it's not there anymore. Valladolid, while it is a large city, I think 300,000 or so people live there, it's not a major city like you would get from Madrid or Barcelona. English is not spoken as widely as you might find in other places, which is fine. It's a Spanish country, absolutely no issues with that. Having a translation on your app on your phone definitely recommended, especially for the menus. Most phones, like including mine, it will just translate the menu automatically with your camera open. Uh, Take some time to learn basic Spanish phrases if you can, and just be polite. If you've not been to Spain before or some other places in Europe, they're not rushing you out of the cafes or restaurants when you're done eating, so don't expect the bills just to show up just because your food has been taken or your plates have been taken away. Uh, they won't come and check on you to see if you want the bill. You'll be waiting a long time if you don't specifically ask for it. Now, some of you might be more conscious about how you're going to be spending your money and maybe you don't want to go to eat for every meal, which is fully understandable. I definitely don't as well, especially for breakfasts and lunches. Multiple responses again address this on how to save some money on food. I fully agree with this. um, I personally could not believe how cheap food was in the grocery stores, at least compared to where I live. As I mentioned, you might be spending large parts of your day at the competition venue, so bringing food for your lunch or your snacks is kind of a must. Even if you're just sitting outside the venue and enjoying the Spanish September weather, hopefully it's not too hot this year. It's just nice to have that stuff with you instead of trying to find a place to eat that's either close to the venue between rounds. It's just, yeah, just bring some food with you, have a little picnic. Any grocery store, supermarket, whatever you want to call them, is fine. If you're looking for the most options, um, the Carrefour market on Santiago Road is a good choice. It's probably the largest of all the grocery stores. Any Carrefour really will work, but the main one, again on Santiago, that's probably your best option. Now, for those who may enjoy a casual alcoholic beverage or two and are of legal drinking age, Valladolid is an open carry city, meaning you can drink responsibly in public. And that was very much taken in advantage of, especially as the competition progressed last year and people were eliminated. Uh, Sitting outside on watching the final rounds on the large screen TV. We have no idea if that's going to be taking place again this year. I really, really hope that there is a place to sit outside, looking at the venue and kind of looking at the setup. I'm not hopeful that will be the case again, but maybe the organizers have something arranged. Sitting outside watching those final events was really fun to do, or just watching the rounds that you're not a part of, even if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it's just qualifier C and you were in qualifier A. Just sitting outside and watching is nice. It takes some heat out of the competition venue. It reduces the noise for the people that are inside as well, and it just then you're not staying inside for the whole week. You get to go outside a little bit. You can talk louder as well with the people around you, and you know what? Enjoy a beverage or two. Now, again, please drink responsibly if you are going to. Most shops will sell beer or wine in them. For those of you who do not drink those types of drinks, like myself, I prefer pre-mixed drinks, coolers, and other good tasting beverages. Those can be found in the larger grocery stores like the Carrefour I mentioned earlier. So there are options. But if you're a beer and wine drinker, you're golden. Any store that sells any food or drink, you're going to get stuff there. And again, keep in mind that opening hours will vary across the city. So just make sure you're as prepared as possible when it comes to getting foods, drinks, whatever that might be. Stay as hydrated as you can as well. There might not be drinkable tap water wherever you might go. So having bottles of water on you will definitely be beneficial. Having something that's going to replenish whatever it is that you're sweating out during the day is again good to make sure you have stuff with sugars in them. Oh, and one other place that was mentioned, which I never heard of, but I will probably try to find it this year. A place called Tras2 sells cheap puzzles, so more ways to save money. It was funny looking at the responses. Some people have been going for years that left comments, and their main thing that they were talking about was where to go to get food and make sure you have food, make sure you have stuff to stay hydrated. Again, some places around the city were mentioned, but first I thought that might be weird, but really it's because you don't spend a lot of time exploring the city itself. There's not tons to do in the city, to be fair, but you're going to be spending so much time again at the competition venue and going out with other puzzlers. There are some social things that people may put together. Later on into the weekend, people may go out for much later in the evenings to bars, clubs, whatever might be open at that time. Um, if you're competing the next day, keep that in mind. Mornings come early, but exploring the city itself appears to be very much secondary as the reason to be in the city. And many people arrive the day before the event starts and they leave the day it's over. A lot of again, I was very surprised last year at how many people brought their suitcases to the last day of competitions. Uh, this year might be a little bit different because the final day isn't teams anymore, it's pairs and individuals, so that might mix things up a little bit, and it's a bit later in the day, I believe. But yeah, people will head straight to the train station afterwards. They're not there to enjoy the city, they're there to enjoy the event. Personally, I'd recommend staying in the city one more night just to kind of relax a little bit once you're all done. Head into Madrid the next day. If your flight is in the afternoon, if your flight is in the morning or around noon, head into Madrid the night before. I cut it very close last year with a 12 o'clock flight, and if someone didn't trade train tickets with me, which is a whole different story, I probably miss that flight. So just be aware when you're leaving this city as well. Again, buy your train tickets in advance. So I was as brief as I could really make it. Things to consider while you're in the city. Yes, there's going to be tons of things I did not include in that. I get it. Leave a comment below so people know what else to look at, or look for, or to experience, or to do whatever. The next question I asked is, what did people wish they knew the first time they went? Everyone is a first timer at some point. In some cases, you might feel like a first timer the second time. For some people, it may feel like it's always their first time, even if you're organizing the event. But what are some things people wish they knew the first time, or what do people want to know that are going for their first time? Food came up again. Seriously, I promise other things do take place. Maybe they don't. Now that I think about it, I spent a lot of time at the competition center, and then eating, and then some sleep, and then competition, eating, sleep. That's definitely going to be on a t-shirt somewhere. So I'm not going to go all through all the food stuff again. One comment that did stand out to me was getting your accreditation, your ID badge, and stuff like that, your name tag, whatever you want to call it, welcome items, right after the opening ceremony's speech. This is fair. The line will be huge. That being said, it is a good time to start meeting people, talk with the people around you in line. There's always a social aspect if you want there to be. Hundreds of people asking for their name tag is going to take quite a bit of time, especially when it's only one, two, three people handing those out. There could be language barriers as well, keeping that in mind. Also, chances are if you're waiting later to pay, like maybe you haven't paid until a day or two before you get to Spain, your badge might not be ready at that first day. So that's going to take time to sort all that out. So if you know you're definitely going, we're just under a month away now, just pay your entry fees. Get that done, get it over with. If you don't, your name tag and all the other stuff that comes with it may not be ready that first day. In the line to save time last year for the Canadians, at least, I just asked for the entire stack of ID badges for all the Canadians, and then just handed them out, dealt them like cards to the people that were there. That's also when we discovered that some people's name tags were not printed yet. Uh, if if you can convince the person in the booth to do that, just be nice. Hopefully they'll let you do that. If not, whatever. But it is an option. Keep your place in line still. Definitely keep your place in line if you're not sure if your card is going to be there. Or if you think there might be an issue, because you don't want to get out of line and get back into a super long line. But you know what? There's other ways to make things go faster. And while there were quite a number of other responses, there was one theme that ran through most of them, so I'm going to put that into their own separate section, and that's the socializing aspect. While one of the best things about the World Championships is the social aspect, as one person did point out, there is not much structured opportunities to mingle or socialize. Now, last year there was a dinner on the opening night that you could attend. I don't know if it's happening this year, but I heard very good things about it last time. I did not attend. I kind of wish I did. I had fun doing the other stuff that I did instead, but as my first time last year, that would have been a really fun way to meet more people. I met a lot of people anyway, so it balanced itself out. Um, but if this is your first time and it's offered again, I would definitely recommend going, especially if you're coming from a country that doesn't have a huge contingent of people going to the World Championships. As of right now, the dinner doesn't look like it's going to be offered. We were sent an email, I think, much earlier than this amount of time away last year, asking to make reservations. So it's unlikely they're doing that again, which is disappointing if they don't. We have seen on the schedule they released something called a puzzle party on Friday afternoon. We can only hope that's going to be a social style event as well, where you can meet more people there. It could be a very good socializing opportunity. I have no idea what's going to take place. I have an idea, but that's probably not correct. So yeah, there's something being offered at least. But if for some reason there aren't many opportunities for socializing provided by the organizers, you'll have to be proactive in getting to know people, which brings me to my next question. How do you approach other puzzlers? And you know what? Just saying hi is the easiest path, while also keeping in mind there could be language barriers. Hi is kind of a universal greeting, and then go from there. The vast majority of people at the World Championships will be open to speaking with other people, so that does help. Yeah, you could definitely be nervous about going up and talking to people. I definitely am when it comes to certain individuals, but you know what? If you don't try, you're never going to know. If you're from one of the countries that has a higher number of representation, especially if you're into the double digits, especially if you're in the 20s, 30s, 40s, for people going from your country, try to reach out to people from your country beforehand. Many of the countries already have ongoing group chats, so reach out to people on there, see if that's already happening. If not, start your own with just a few weeks left to go. Again, lots of ways to kind of get to know people before you even get there. This also helps with questions like this. Behind the scenes news is very openly shared within the puzzle community. Keeping a secret within the puzzle community is incredibly hard to do. But you have to talk to people to get that information. You can start as easily with just following people on Instagram. Watch their stories. That's where you're going to find out a lot of information that's being released. Check people's stories. If you want to know more information, comment on the stories, send people messages, and start that conversation back and forth. If you really want to go extreme, you can start an entire YouTube channel. That's helped me get information. People will submit information to me anonymously. Not from them. I know who sends it, but I don't reveal who's sending me information when I get that, depending on what it is. And so yeah, you can always take that route. It takes a lot more effort and time and energy and money. It's easier just to follow people on Instagram. Watch the stories. Watch mine. Help me out. Something happened with the audio for this portion of the video, so I'm going to quickly re-record it with my voice. Yes, you want to bring some sort of pins or badges if you're looking to introduce yourself in a nice, easy icebreaker
way. There will be people that make their own custom badges. Those always look amazing and very creative. If you don't have time, or if it's something that you just don't really want to figure out how to do, bringing a pin that represents your specific country. Some Canadians had maple leaf pins last year. The Australians are known for their very unique golden pins and some other interesting ones that they bring. So it's really up to you how you do this. You can also have a t shirt that will include your Instagram handle or YouTube channel handle if you have one of those. Just any way to kind of make things a bit easier to identify yourself. I will obviously have a shirt that has my name on it, so I'll be easily identifiable. My YouTube and Instagram handle will be on both on those. And I haven't decided if I'm doing pins this year or not, but if I do, I'll let people know in advance.
The social aspect will come up again, I think, a little bit more in the video. But moving on to the next section, that is the individual competition. So, what's some advice people sent in for that? It really comes down to just a few key items. This may be your first time at Worlds. It may be your first international event, which are always a little bit bigger. This may be your first competition ever. It's shocking how many people's first speed puzzle competition is the World Championships. I mean, bravo for doing that, but I could never. The number one thing people mentioned a lot was noise. Definitely the most common response. Be prepared for the noise in the competition area. The room is not silent. It will never be silent. There are hundreds of puzzlers, which makes noise. There are potentially hundreds more spectators who will make noise. People will talk at regular levels, and if everyone's talking at a regular level, that's a loud level once it all gets added together. With the new venue, we don't know how close the spectators will be. In the dome last year, you were separate. If you're at the edges, you were separated by a metal barrier that was a few centimeters wide. Like you could reach out and touch the competitors if you wanted to. So it's and those people were talking. Again, it can get loud. There's also camera people moving around, chairs being pushed in and out, tables being bumped, tables being hit at a celebration when you finish a puzzle. Don't do that. When competitors finish, they maybe not maybe they will be walking down the rows and out. So there's always something going on creating some sort of noise. There's going to be distractions, so be prepared for that. Ideally you just wear headphones. That is the easiest way to distract not distract to get rid of the distractions of the ambient noise around you. If you don't normally wear headphones, consider it. Try practicing now with it. Or maybe you just don't want any noise in your ears. You can still wear noise canceling headphones or earplugs to at least mute a little bit of the noise that's going on around the room. If you are someone that has to sing along to music when it's playing, maybe make a playlist that doesn't include that. More instrumental type of stuff. I've heard from someone that just did video game theme songs was what was playing, and you know what? Love that as well. I have started making my own playlist with that to see if it works, and you know what? It kind of does if you get the right video game songs. Now, if you don't want to wear headphones, you're refusing to wear headphones, you don't want to, you can't, whatever the it may be, consider listening to background noise on YouTube while you puzzle, some sort of ambient crowd type of noise. I did that last year, and still bring it out every so often to prepare for the teams and pairs rounds where it's more unlikely I won't have headphones in. Uh, my preferred video is in the description below. It, this is the picture of what it looks like on the preview image on YouTube. Um, it's also a good timekeeping video. It's exactly an hour long, so if I finish before that video is done, I know I'm under an hour. So that's a nice way to do timekeeping without actually looking at the clock beside me. Now, obviously, I'm going for faster than an hour, but when I was getting ready last year, where I wasn't at the same speed I am now, not a huge difference, but a little bit. That video does help. So it's finding different ways to kind of prepare yourself to be in that competition area. There's other things that I do as well, but I'm not going to give away all my secrets because I am still competing to get to the finals. If I make the finals, I'll give everyone my other strategies that I've used to prepare for the World Championships. I need to get there first. There's also comments like this one where they focused on the adrenaline aspect and getting ready for that, the challenge that comes with it. Shaky hands are very much a thing in these final weeks before the World Championships take place. If you can find a way to train with others, even have someone watch you puzzle, whatever that might be. They can just be sitting in the same room as you, but if it feels like they're watching you, that can help with your adrenaline a little bit. If you have any way of building up the pressure, uh, do it. Get used to that type of adrenaline, getting used to the pressure, getting used to whatever it is that might cause you to get the shaky hands or to slow down or get nervous. Do something to prepare for that. Now, preparing for the pressure, the adrenaline, this is for those of you that are not just there for 100% fun. And what I mean by that is, yes, you're going there to enjoy yourself, but you also want to maybe get a personal best or move on to the semifinals or the finals. Maybe you're going for a podium position, uh, or one of the top prizes in the different age categories or the debutante group, whatever that might be. If you're in the running for any of these accomplishments, you may want to prepare for that increased pressure on yourself or the inevitable rise of adrenaline as those final minutes count down or those final few pieces are going in and you realize that, hey, I have a chance to do something really awesome. You don't want to stumble at that very last hurdle. And then quickly, just some other comments that came up for this. Yes, make sure to stay hydrated in that individual round. It's all on you. If you slow down, there's no one there to kind of pick up the speed like you might get in pairs or teams. Um, and if nothing else, it's going to help you stay focused. It's going to prevent the dizziness or the fainting. Yes, that came up a fair bit last year, more than it should have. Uh, so if the heat is as high as it was last year and you're not fully hydrated, that will impact how fast you can go and how fast you need to go if you want to move on to the semifinals and the finals. Prepare for different temperature scenarios when it comes to what clothing you're going to bring to the competition venue. Shorts and short sleeve shirts will be the most common, obviously, but you never know. What if you are right near an air conditioning vent? That could be a very cold 45 minutes, an hour, if it's teams closer to 2 hours. So just be prepared for whatever that might be. If you can get into the competition center, actually everyone can get in the competition center the day before the event starts. So try to figure out where certain parts of the where you might be sitting in that room. If you can try to guess, ideally, you can try to figure out what your spot in the room is going to be like. Will the air conditioning be close to you? Will there be air conditioning? That's a big one. If that room is super hot on that first day, it's going to be hot for the rest of the week. If you're bringing a little fan, whether it's around your neck or it's on a table, just make sure it doesn't impact the puzzlers around you. Practice with them in advance as well. If you just buy it last minute, you're risking maybe the fan's too powerful and it's just blowing your pieces all over the place. If it's around your neck, are you able to turn your head quite the same, whether it's in individuals or when you get to pairs or teams? Again, all little things that can add up. Seconds matter. And lastly, this is one that I have to remind myself of the most. I am definitely guilty of not doing this quite a bit. And it's finding the joy in puzzling regardless of the puzzle. We don't get to pick the puzzles in the individual rounds, and it is 100% on you on how well you do personally, regardless of how difficult or easy the puzzle may appear or be, whatever. So find the parts of the puzzle that you do enjoy, get through the rest of it, but just remember to the experience is supposed to be fun overall and just do your best. On to the pairs and teams rounds. I'm just going to combine these two because the responses were similar for both of them, and it's pretty much the same thing, just with more people in teams. There were a lot of responses, but I'm going to focus on three main themes that came up. First is communication. When you are puzzling with other people, whether it's in a pair or as a team, let them know what your strengths and weaknesses are and find out what theirs are as well. Especially if you've not had time to really prepare in advance, it's good to know that, at least know that information going into it. If you are stuck on a section, tell the people you are puzzling with. I struggle with this one often, more than I should. Not often, more than I should. Uh, and I do actively work more to communicate better with my group to make sure that I'm not stuck on one section for too long. And along the same lines, check in on your partner or your teammates. If you notice they might be stuck, offer to switch out, switch to a different place. Sometimes just a fresh set of eyes on those pieces is all you need. I was doing teams puzzles recently, and I was just stuck staring at this one section forever, and it wasn't going very quickly. And yes, we switched to a different spot and moved on to something else. Went much faster. I just had to look at something different and just kind of refresh my eyes for a little bit. So keeping that in mind when you're working with a partner or with your teams. Second, your puzzle choice matters. I'm not going to minimize the importance of this in the pairs and the teams round. Your puzzle choice matters. So in the qualifiers, when you're picking between two puzzles for pairs or between four puzzles for the teams, typically you're going to choose with what you have done before, and that is the most logical strategy to start with. But at the same time, you may have done a puzzle before and realize it's a nightmare. A perfect example would be my pairs qualifier from last year. We had the choice between lupins, which neither of us had done, or the butterfly, which I had done, and I don't believe my partner had. Um, yes, this was by far the worst choice of the four qualifier pairs rounds. Now, neither of us had done lupins. I had done butterfly, so logically we should do the butterfly. However, I knew the butterfly was a bit of a nightmare. It looks a lot easier than it is, but there's really only three colors in that whole puzzle, and that makes it so much harder to get through. Um, we ended up going with lupins. It worked out. We qualified for the semifinals, so great. I don't know what would have happened if we went with the butterfly, but that doesn't matter now. We definitely made it. We made it through, so that's all that matters. That being said, 1 year later, I have done the butterfly a few more times since. I know I have better strategies with it, which I didn't know at the time. If I had to pick today, I'm probably picking butterfly. So it also depends on how much you know those puzzles. Even though I've done it once before last year, it didn't make sense. Now I've done it 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I would probably pick it now. In some cases, the choice is super obvious. One of the other pairs qualifiers last year was sloth selfie up against cats on the shelf. Only one pair picked the sloths. They didn't go through. No one was surprised. The qualifiers is just about getting through when it comes to the pairs and the teams round. That is all that matters. There's no semifinals for either of them. It's just about getting through. There's also no reward for finishing first or finishing as the final qualifying pair or team. There's no advantages given in the finals like there is in individuals. Um, as far as I know, I don't think. I do think they're still giving the individual. I haven't checked that actually because it won't affect me. Individual tables for the top people in the individual rounds. Maybe I don't know. There's also no bonus points for picking the toughest puzzle and making your way through. You just want to get through the round. That's it. So pick whichever one your pair believes they can definitely do faster. You had to take both puzzles with you as well, so you can still do the other one. If it looks more fun, great, do that one later. If it's harder, just pick a puzzle that's going to get you through. That's what matters. As long as it's after me and my partner, I don't care what you pick, but do what you can. And lastly, if you plan on using trays, practice with them beforehand. If you've never used trays before, this might not be the optimal time to try it for the first time, especially as a pair, which can be a lot more challenging. But if you're not able to practice with your pair in advance, just do a 500-piece puzzle on your own and practice with the trays on your own. Just get used to how your trays work. And in reference to the gutters part, hopefully they're not needed to keep water away during the team's round this year or any other round. But we won't know until that does or does not happen. Let's hope not. And then just to close this out, there's a lot of messages that were sent in support of people that were going from people who have been there before. Most comments are just a reminder to have fun and enjoy yourself. Even if the sky starts falling, which, as we know, can happen, the experience will still be enjoyable if you want it to be. You're there, so congratulations. Put as much or as little pressure on yourself as you want to. At the end of the day, it's it's about what you want to achieve. And yeah, some people are going to have goals of making the semifinals in individuals and might not make it. Some people will have goals of making the finals in the various categories and might not make it. I wanted to be in the finals of all three last year, and I didn't make it in the individuals. Was I disappointed? Yes, I was very disappointed. I'm still disappointed, and it's been almost a year. But you move on from that. The rest of the trip was, for the most part, very enjoyable. All the individual qualifiers and semifinals are on the first day this year, so if I don't make the finals now, that might impact the rest of my week. But that's the pressure I'm putting on myself, and I'll deal with that however that works out. Put as much pressure or as little pressure on yourself as you want. A lot of have funs and good lucks because, of course, again, just enjoy yourself while you're there. And finally, remember that it was the first time for everybody at some point while they were there. And if people are coming back, that means they are enjoying it. Uh, there are going to be hundreds of people this year in particular that are there for the first time. It might be, other than the very first World Championships, this might be the year with the most first timers. So there's a lot of opportunities to meet people that are going and having this experience for the first time, like yourself. So to close out, good luck to everybody that is going to the World Championships. And for those that are going for their first time, again, just have fun. That is it for this video. I will see you next time where I talk a little bit more about the categories, specifically some of the updates that have been released on the website, and hopefully we will have some round assignments to discuss as well. And as we get closer to the World Championships, the entire focus is now turning to that. I will have some puzzled and chatty episodes coming out, each one featuring someone that will be at the World Series. Some first-time people, some people that have been there for a while, and some people that are very experienced at the World Championships. I will have a prediction video coming out where I will give my inevitably incorrect thoughts on how some people will finish. There will be a more focus on the Canadians, but I will be looking at generally the whole field in there. I did predict the winner last year, so you know what, there is that. And I will also have a separate prediction video, which I'm very excited about, where I will give my thoughts on things I believe will happen at the World Championships. Not necessarily a prediction on how people will finish, that will be included a little bit, but just kind of other things that I expect, what type of puzzles I expect to show up, how I think some of the rounds might go. It's a fun video, and I look forward to seeing what other people's weird predictions will be. So there is less than 30 days to go until the World Championships. Hopefully your training is going well. Until next time, as always, happy puzzling. Bye.